You guys know that I always get excited for the Speakeasy podcast. Here it is, where we talk about the behind the scenes of the speaker and author journey. I am your host, Alcides Pelzer, the voice coach, professional speaker, certified life coach, and Amazon bestselling author and podcast. And we are excited today. So I have a special guest today. Her name is Chu. I said it correctly. Yes. We have a special guest today, and I'm excited because as we're in preparation for this final quarter of 2018, some of you are looking at the calendar going, wait, we're not in the final quarter yet. No, we really are almost in the final quarter of 2018. As we look at the final quarter of 2018, we really want you to be able to maximize what it is that you want to achieve. So you want to achieve and maximize your full potential as a speaker or an author. What does that mean? What does that look like? What does it feel like? And guess what? I can tell you that is so much more than just getting on stage and somebody paying you a $10,000 check. Yes, that is amazing. That is great. You can pay off some bills with that, but there are so many other pieces to it that will hinder you from reaching your fullest potential as a speaker and author. So I want to first say thank you to our guest. Hey, Chu.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Definitely thank you for being a guest today. And tell everybody, all of the wonderful listeners and viewers, a little bit about yourself and how, what we're talking about, how that really relates to who you are.
Okay, so I am Julie Kragh. I live in Pennsylvania, but I'm originally from Congo, Africa. I'm a mom, so a lot of what I do, revolves around my kids, and that's how I like it. I'm also a mental health and disability consultant, and I'm a speaker and author as well. And regarding this topic, when you say about, achieving and maximizing, our potential, oh my goodness, I don't know where to start, honestly. I feel like you said, sometimes we think we have this goal, like you said, speaking and getting paid $10,000. Like, once I hit $10,000 per speaking engagement, I've hit it. And honestly, I don't think that's it. You can hit $10,000 speaking engagement and still have not been prepared yourself emotionally, physically, spiritually to actually do what you need to do next with that $10,000, right? So I think it's a process. You start where you are. Honestly, my philosophy is you start where you are, do what you can with what you have where you are. So, we all have our journeys. Everybody starts somewhere. If you, only waiting to take the 10,000 speaking engagement to say, oh yes, I'm a speaker, and pat yourself in the back and say, I did it. Then once you reach that, then what? Then what's next for you? Like, that life is boring, honestly. If you always, kind of limit yourself by a dollar amount, and I say that because I think, success is more than money. There's people who work and, have businesses and make $10,000 in a speaking engagement. And then they're not happy. They're miserable because they're not where they want to be. Or maybe they're taking speaking engagements are not related to something they're passionate about. Just because it's going to pay the bill, it's good. We've all been there where you have to do something because you got to do it. But I think in order to sustain your career, sustain your business, sustain, your ministry, whatever it is that you're doing, your calling, I think you have to start doing things that you're truly, truly passionate about. And then, you have to go for the learning curve, and start somewhere. We were talking earlier about how, where we said, where you started even a year ago, with the podcasting, it's not where you are now. It's like, that's the beauty of it. And I think at each stage, you're learning something new about yourself. You're learning something new about your industry, learning something new, technology. Oh my goodness, that don't even get me started about, all the things we learn as we go through, with technology. I think, but it wouldn't be the same if you just got literally transported from where you are right now to where you want to be in 10 years. Like, just poof, you're there. You're not going to appreciate that. It's like, well, sometimes they say give somebody a car, maybe if they needed it, they won't take care of that car, if it's a Mercedes or whatever, car you're looking for, like you call the top the best. You give something to someone that they haven't earned, they haven't, don't have any sweat equity on it, they're not going to appreciate that. They're not. you're going to see them ride that car, a couple of months or not even a year. They'll say, I got this vehicle. But if they had to even, put some sweat equity in it, maybe they had to be the one, even to pay this small portion of it, or the one cleaning it before they had it. If they had some kind of personal investment into that project, into that gift, it's a totally different thing. You're going to see them own it. It gives a sense of ownership, and if they own it, they want the best for it. But if you give something free to people, just know here it's a gift. Often we don't, appreciate that. Same thing with, with our speaking careers, same, with our businesses. If we have not been through the things that we've been through, we'll not truly appreciate what we have today.
So I'm over here like taking all these notes because I'm like, oh my goodness, that's a good point. And that one's a good point too. And you said an amazing thing. Let's start with the learning curve. Because a lot of times people think, and this is the stigma, this is the glasses that people wear when they come into the industry, is that just because I go and I take John Maxwell's program, just because I go and I take Les Brown's program, that I'm going to achieve Les Brown and John Maxwell's success.
No.
And so when we say achieving and maximizing your fullest potential, and we think about that learning curve, what would be your first thing in telling them, as somebody who's new in the industry, or even somebody who's been in the industry for quite some time, what would you say to them when it comes to that learning curve? Because you and I know that learning curve, that thing is always moving. It's more like a learning carousel.
Yes. Oh, right. And just to piggyback on what you just said is, these programs are great. Maxwell is awesome. Les Brown, they're cool guys that they own their craft. So like we have to give them that, that credit. But at the same time, I don't think they're ever gonna be two John Maxwell on the universe. I'm like, I don't think they're ever gonna be, two Les Browns, because even if you achieve, like you're making the same dollar amount that they're making, you're never going to present, you're never going to, in the way they do it, you're never going to see things the way they do it, you're never going to, it's like, honestly, if you just even just appreciate who you are individually, just like snowflakes, there's no two people on earth just like you, there's nobody else. Right? So you are unique, just exactly where we can go for the exact same training, even you and I, so we go for the exact same training. We bring the same things to the table, but when we deliver, a message can be totally different. Even if we say we get a script, we'll all like memorize the script and we're going to give it, our delivery will be different because you bring to the table your past experiences, you bring to the table your personality, you bring to the table, oh my goodness, your pain, and all the things that you learn along the way. And I think we just have to own it. So with that learning, curve or carousel, like you said, you start where you are, but start with a vision of who you are and then where you want to be. I like people who say, well, yeah, I want to do like X, Y, and Z, but I like them, but I don't love that. I don't love that mentality, because I will never be like you'll never be like me. There's something you're so great at that I could never do. I started a podcast. I couldn't keep up with it because it wasn't something that I was invested in. It just wasn't the way, my skill set was working. Right. And now that, I just rebranded my podcast and like, oh, now I can talk about other things and I will have more, I'll be more passionate about, more, enthusiastic about, talking about those things. I had to own it. I had to own who I was. Some people will have like the podcast. They do the exact same day each week and they're so diligent with it. I literally just finished doing a video apologizing to my audience because I said I accepted a challenge of going live every day for 30 days. And guess what? I only did it for 2 weeks. And even with the 2 weeks, the times were different because that's my life. I'm a single mom and, I can have something, planned. I'm like, I'm going to go live at this time. And then sure enough, somebody pooped their pants, you got to stop. It's mom life, right? Or, with my own health issues, I'll say, okay, I'm going to go live at 12:30. And then I have this really bad migraine. I can't extend the light. So life happens. And I have to, with that video I just did, I had to own it and say, this is my reality. I can record videos, even so often when I'm well, and then upload it later. It's even schedule the post at a certain time. But me going live every single day for 30 days, it's just not realistic for me. And you might feel like, oh, geez, that's like something that, it's a goal that I didn't meet. But honestly, in that time they didn't meet that one goal, what other goals have you been meeting? Like, even sometimes it's not goals that you didn't set, but all the other things that you've been doing. Appreciate that about yourself. And like, I think we just, I can go on and on. But I think this issue of being like so and so, making as much money as so and so, is because we compare ourselves too much. Comparison is the thief of dreams, the thief of joy even. You're never going to be happy with your life, with who you are, if you always compare yourself with John Doe, or Sandy Smith, or whoever you compare yourself with. Because I think you just remember that you are unique, and your experiences are going to be unique. Your ministry, your work, your business is going to be unique to who you are. So instead of, denying yourself, like, oh, I have to go live at a certain time, I have to be, this way or that way. Just own it all, own who you are. And then that's the learning curve. You say that you find out what works, what doesn't work for you. And it's okay. The more you find out what doesn't work, then you tweak it next time and you do even better. So you are learning with each, perceived failure. Because I haven't called it failure, I call them, learning experiences. But you learn with each one of those experiences. And then the more you learn, the more you, tweak your craft and own it, the better you get at it. So that's why I say we can't be transported from, oh, I don't want to speak, to now I'm speaking to $10,000. It's like, I want to speak, now I'm going to work my way to $10,000. And even when you get to $10,000, like, I hope that you are still reaching for more than just the dollar amount. I remember when I started speaking, like I went to conferences for free. People called me, like, message me, oh, we have this conference. Can you come and just, do a half hour or an hour? And I'm like, oh yeah, but I want to get paid for doing this stuff. But you have to start somewhere, right? So I started doing all these free stuff, going to local mental health conference and women's conference and speaking for free. And before I knew it, now people are still calling me and and asking me to speak for a fee. Because you have to start somewhere and build your credibility too. Like, nobody knows you from, the next lady, next man, next door. But you have to build your, credibility. And the more you get out there and show people, what you're worth, you show people your talent, the more people, appreciate you, the more value your craft becomes. Right. So, and then, I think it's even, and I can think of her name. Oh, I'm picturing her face. I can't think of her name now. But, it's a woman speaker that we all love and adore. I watch all the time. Yeah, my mind just went blank. But she talks about how she had to start somewhere. Like, I was watching a video from her just like yesterday or the day before, how she went to not being able to buy diapers for her son, to now she's, honestly millionaire, maybe billionaire soon. I don't know what, status is, but she went from that struggle, and from that place of struggle that she kept, tweaking what worked, but didn't work, and tweaking into now she's somewhere where, she feel like she, she accomplished a lot of the things that she has, but she's not stopping there. Right. Someone else that I follow said, we all have to feel embarrassed 5 years from now about what we're doing right now. So if you, like, now it's 2018. So let's say in 2023, if you look at your past videos, look at your past program, and just like, oh, that's still good, then something is wrong, right? No, you have to be evolving. So even if you reach that goal that you set for yourself, I encourage you, keep moving. Because, and honestly, the more you do this, the more you practice. I mean, again, we all know practice makes better, right? So when you're doing those free events and free speaking engagement, you are crafting that, that gift of yours, so that you can, charge as a keynote speaker later on. And then you'll have all this social proof that you did great the past, 10 years, not just showing up from the woodwork and say, oh, I can speak, I'm going to charge $10,000, right? And like I say, it's never about money. You can be speaking on something that you definitely, don't even like, and get the check. I mean, personally, I don't like doing it that way. I like being myself and serving, like bringing my whole self to the stage, all that I am. And then it's like, this is the real me. Like, honestly, when I do conferences or when I'm doing, Facebook Live, there's no difference. The same shoe you get everywhere you go. And people want that. People want the authentic you, not the you that's just on stage and then off stage is somebody else, right? Because you're trying to, again, to be like somebody else, right? Okay. I'll stop there because I say I can be speaking all day long.
No, you were right on point. And I'm sitting here going, oh my goodness, she is saying everything that needs to be said right now about this particular subject. Because when we think about achieving and maximizing our fullest potential, what people miss is that service piece. And you talked about it. The times that, you're going to have to go and speak for free. There's going to be opportunities where you get a fly opportunity where someone just calls you out of the blue. And at the last minute, they want you to speak for an opportunity. Yes, that happens. And I find that there are so many people that are coming into the industry and they don't want to do their due diligence. We talked about that earlier. They don't want to put some skin in the game in order for them to be able to have something to leverage, something to stand on. And so I often tell people that, when I do live events, okay, what are you bringing to the table? I've had people reach out and say, oh, I would love to, be on your platform, but I don't pay for speaking opportunities, or, I'm usually the one that gets paid. Great. So then what comes with that? Because there's going to be a lot of people that would show up for free, that would promote, send it out to their email list, that would go and, it would be all across their social media and everything. What are you bringing to the table? And so when you're doing that, achieving and maximizing your full potential as a speaker and an author, that means that I need to take inventory. What is it that I really have to offer somebody when I show up to speak? Because guess what? Yes, I can speak about a topic, but there's a lot of people that can speak about that same topic. What's unique about me?
Yes. Love it. Exactly. That's where it's at. What's unique about you? Because you have to find a way to stand out from the crowd. Everybody can be a speaker, just like with life coaches, both life coaches for different things, but everybody, and the brother and the sister want to be a life coach, right? But but you bring something different that, that I don't have, and I bring something different that you don't have. And it, again, back to knowing who you are, like, owning that, owning all that you are and who you are. And then, selling from that standpoint. And I like how you also mentioned about how, even with the free events, how, people are, sharing, and, honestly, it's free marketing. You can think about how often, you can be paying Facebook, ads and, and all, spending so much money on advertisement where you might not realize you might do something free and actually have more for your bank later on, because those people, you show your credibility, you're more visible, and those people will be, you be bragging about you later on, and not just because of, you being a speaker and an author and sharing from, your expertise, but people want you to share from your heart. And when you honestly show up, and that people know that you're not getting paid, they're like, she really cares, and what's that saying? Like, people won't, I can't remember how it goes. Like, people don't care how much you know until you show how much you care. So yes, I hope that, like you said, it's so by service. I hope that all of us don't go into this, this career or this business just because we want to make money, because money is not the end all. And yes, it helps us pay our bill. We have to live, we have families, kids to raise, and expenses. I get that, but I can't tell you how often where I might honestly take do something just pure out of service, and then I might not get paid there, and I might have a need elsewhere. And honestly, for those of us who who have faith from a Christian, like, it's amazing how sometimes you say yes to something here, and then the need that I have elsewhere is taken care of just because I was serving. I don't serve so I can get I guess brownie points elsewhere, but I know the more I serve, the happier I am, right? Because you can have all your needs met and still be miserable. I'm sorry, you can. So money's it's not all about it. And often, even when I do consultation for people with disabilities in the family, I often tell people tell me, well, they have disability income, and they have this and that, and that will find me they don't need to work. I tell people there's more to work than a paycheck. There is more to your speaking than your paycheck. There's more to your business than just a paycheck. What message are you communicating to others? Like I often say, what footprints are you leaving on earth? And I just want you to think about that. What footprints are you leaving on earth? be a speaker that leaves a message that help people transform their lives, that leave a message that gives people hope, leave a message that motivate people to, inspire them to reach higher, to do just like us, to, achieve and maximize the potential. Be a speaker of impact, of influence, not just a speaker who gets paid.
That is amazing. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh my goodness, that was it in a nutshell. You said so many different things. So you talked about the promoting piece. And I found that there are so many speakers that'll get on a platform and they say yes to an opportunity, but they're not promoting the opportunity. They're not promoting that they're speaking with it. They're not promoting that they're a part of this great experience. And guess what? Again, but you will go to someone else and say, I want to be a paid speaker. I want to be paid. That's why I'm coming to you. And then when you look at them and you look at their social media, you're like, but you don't promote anything that you're doing. Are you sending it out to your email list? Or do you even have an email list? So again, going back to what is it that you really have to offer, that when you promote an event, you're not just promoting the event, you're promoting yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
You're promoting yourself. And so you're putting it out there that you're a part of this particular event. You're connected with this particular person or this particular organization. And I come in contact because I do so much with helping speakers get opportunities and creating opportunities for speakers and things of that nature. I get so many people that I connect with, and I'm just like, so what is it that you're actually bringing to the table? What, they don't have that mentality because it's all about how am I going to get the dollars and cents? And then they forget that there's other ways for you to monetize speaking. They weren't trained that.
Yeah.
So they think that the only way I speak is if somebody pays me a check for me to get on stage. It's not the only way that you can get paid. That's not the only way that income and revenue come. So you have to understand that. And you said it, there's more to speaking than just a paycheck. I'm going into this making sure that I impact lives. And in order for me to be able to achieve and maximize my fullest potential as a speaker, I have to think like that. I'm going in to change lives. I'm going in to make an impact. Now, I will tell some people, and those of you that listen to Gary Vee, you hear him say this all the time. When he shows up to take everybody out. He doesn't care who else is on the stage. He shows up so that way you remember his name. Whatever it is he said is going to make an impact in your life. That is what he does when he shows up. Gary Vee does not get paid every time he shows up at an event. Les Brown does not get paid every time he shows up at an event. Neither does Lisa Nichols.
Yeah, she's the one I was talking about, Lisa Nichols.
Right.
Yeah.
There's so many people as professional speakers that you're looking at them and you see that they get paid $10,000 and $20,000 per event. They don't get paid for every single event. There's a system to this. And in order for you to be able to truly achieve and maximize your fullest potential when it comes to being the speaker, that means that there's some training that you need to take. There's some lessons that you need to learn in order to be able to rock this out 100%.
Yes. So true. And I just, want to touch on that too, like, going through trainings, because it's often like, well, people say, I have my message, I know what I want to talk about. And then like off they go, on stage, and then they're talking. But I think, like you said, if we learn how to do it right, not only we're creating excellence for ourselves, but our influence and impact is even greater, right? And back to the to speaking like for free, but you mentioned touching something. That's also how you can build that email list of yours, right? So even if you're not getting paid, you can get there. If there's 50 people in that room, that's 50 email addresses that you have, and you nurture that audience. And you're very surprised how many of those can turn into clients, how many of those can turn into, affiliate, because they're just bragging about, how great your talk was, and asking people like, hey, if you're on social media, here's my name on social media, tag me if you're going to post something about the conference or about the speaking engagement. And again, then it shows up on your feed as well, and it's social proof to the whole world that you have something to offer. And I look at it this way: imagine if you need, I don't know, this is knee surgery, knee replacement. Not wishing down anybody's You say like you need surgery, like you need to have a knee replacement, and you're looking between two surgeons, one who has a reputation of doing awesome surgeries, and people are walking after the other, they're playing tennis and they're running cross country, like his former patients. And then you have somebody who says that they've been doing surgeries for 10 years, but then there's no proof of that. Who will you go to? I'll go to the one who's been doing surgery for 2 years, but have maybe 10 people bragging about it. Because everybody, in this time and age, people need social proof. So yeah, maximize all those opportunities. When you go to speaking engagement, even if it's free, get people to do your, sign up for your email list. What else are you offering? Like after you do, if you only have a mentality of only speaking and then that you're done, you're missing out on so many more opportunities. Because think about, how people believe, then what can you give people that they can take with them even after you're no longer there, after they're done with the event? I think it's Tamara Lode who calls it like box your brilliance. Honestly, like, I don't know, ebooks and, workbooks or to audio, it's or your book, like have something else that you can sell from the stage. At the end, don't go there and just be all salesy, talk about all you did and then sell stuff to people. Give them content, give them something that, substantial meat that they need. And then afterwards say, hey, if you like this, or someone else who want it, here are the products that I have. Or even if you don't have anything right there to sell, those email address that you had. After that, go back and say thank you. Like sometimes that, we forget even to say thank you. People give you their time, give you their attention, and then you're just like, oh, it was a free event, so I just showed up, just because I had to show up. No, take those 5 minutes and do an email. Just say, thank you for being there. I know your time is valuable. And, I'm here if you have questions. You'll be surprised, how much that means to people. Even myself, I'm a speaker, but when I go to, speaking engagement and speaking events for, listen to someone else, and then I get an email, somebody thanking me for being there. I'm like, oh, I wanted to be there, but because I took the time to say thank you, and then I'll literally be Googling the website, then I'm looking at what else do they do? How can I connect with them? But if they didn't take the time to view that follow-up email afterward, I'll forget about them. Like I might take notes and have my notes, but I might not be motivated to go look them up, search them up and see, what else they do. And sometimes I even buy from them. So yeah, to always do that follow-up. It's just like if I don't know, you come to someone's house and at the end you want to say bye, right? When you come, you want to say hi. And then later on you want to say, thank you for having me over at your house. It's the same way. Now you just do it, in a digital format where you're sending that thank you letter. So, and all those, few tips there are to help you, again, maximize those opportunities that you have to speak. You have that list and people get connected to you and follow you longer because you built that, like and trust, aspect, because people want that. They don't want to see you once and then you're gone. It's like, okay, that was good. That was nice. It felt good then, but goodbye. They forget about you, right? So how can you keep nurturing the people that you're speaking to, as long-term clients or affiliates or, people? You might be surprised. You send that email, say, oh, I also have this. They might not buy it, but because they like you so much, they'll share on social media. Oh, I went to this conference and this is what she's selling. Check this out. And you could be making, I don't know how many dollars off of just that one email you said to say thank you.
That is so interesting because I'm always telling people maximize the event. I tell people, we're in a society now where people want to maximize the fact that they know somebody. They want to maximize the connections that they have. But the reality is it's not about maximizing the connections that you have. Yes, you can maximize them, but it's about maximizing the experience, because there are ways that you can maximize the experience as an author, as a speaker, that will put you in the forefront of people's minds whenever something else is coming down the pipeline. There's a way that you can maximize the experience and open up opportunities galore. One of the things that I teach when I do the Love My Voice tour is that literally it's about service. Whether you're there as an attendee, whether you're there as a speaker, it's about service. And so just recently we were in Virginia, and one of the attendees, you have a networking piece, and that's what you ask people is, how can I serve you? She went up to someone and said, how can I serve you? And she got a speaking opportunity.
Wow. Awesome.
And so we because we're so, thinking about, oh, well, this person, I have to meet, I have to do this and I have to do that. No, sometimes it just goes back to starting with that service. How can I serve people? What can I do? How am I leaving? You said it. What is the footprint that I'm leaving on this earth? What's the footprint that I'm leaving when it comes to that particular organizer? What's the impact that I'm leaving on that particular event? How did I market it? How did I talk about it? Did I, talk it up? Did nobody even know I was going to be there? Like, what really is happening when it comes to me as the speaker and the author? Because that's what people look for. And so I get it, because on social media, you look down people's timeline and you don't even know that they speak or that they have a book. Or it says that they're a speaker and you don't know what topics they talk about, because it's nothing on their page that shows you exactly who they are.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So it's definitely important for you to not only do it, but do it consistently.
Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah. Don't be a ghost. Here and gone, right? No, people need to know that you're and then you're right. Like, sometimes, I've been there where I was like, felt uncomfortable, like sharing about what I do on my personal page. Cause I'm like, oh, there's so many people, there are friends and family. I don't want to be like, talking about my business all the time. And I'm like, well, this is something I'm passionate about. If I'm not doing it from like, buy, it's more, oh, look, check out what I'm doing now, and when I start doing that, it's amazing. People who never been my clients before, just because of me sharing, again, one, free content on my face, on my page, but then sharing them about what I'm doing next, people start sharing also, and it took me a while. Like, people who never even been my client, like for counseling or coaching. One day I literally got up and I got like notification about in a local group. And I'm like, okay, well, how come I got like 3 different notifications in the same group? And here, someone in that group, I asked, was looking for counseling, and it was 3 people who never been my clients, 3 people who recommended me. I'm like, I'm reading the same post. I'm like, well, why am I reading the same post that Facebook setting? I thought it was an error. Like Facebook literally said, send me the same thing 3 times. But here was 3 different people who recommended me in that group, but they never purchased anything from me before. One of them heard me speak for free at a church. Give you an example. The other one, only follows me on my page, and actually she never bought anything from me. She heard me speak, but just recorded stuff that I post on, my page. And maybe if once in a while she, if she comments a question on one of the videos, I'll comment back and give her some input that, is meaningful. And because of that, you kind of create that track record of someone who cares, to someone who knows what she's talking about, visibility, credibility. And, people need that.
They definitely need that. I can guarantee that they need that. And it stands out. It definitely stands out above everyone else, without you being being all showy or salesy or anything. It makes you stand out, because that means that somebody trusts in what it is that you're doing. They trust you as an individual. Now, in this process of reaching our fullest potential and maximizing our fullest potential as a speaker and an author, has there been any things along the way that really you look back and you're like, okay, maybe I shouldn't have did that particular thing. Maybe I won't do that anymore.
Oh yes. I mean, honestly, I'm sure all of us, had those experiences. And if you haven't had any of those experiences, then you're not growing. And I'll just put out there, because we learn from those. Back to what I said earlier, it's a learning curve, carousel, whatever you want to call it. But you have to, you learn from those times. So I had, I just recently, I had someone who I met in a business group. We were friends on Facebook. We follow each other. And one day, I posted about a program that I was doing, and she, reached out to me and said, oh, I'm doing something similar. Do you want to partner with me? We can do it together, better and bigger. I'm all about partnerships. Nothing wrong about that. But, what I learned in that experience was that, one, I had to be true to myself, and I failed myself by not being true. Because when she said that, I'm like, this just doesn't feel right. I like this lady. I like this one, what she's doing, but it just didn't feel right. And sure enough, as we're trying to plan this, was like, we're scheduling here and there because the date just didn't work out. And then we try to do it. And then like, it was just like, even this whole preparation phase and like setting it up, there was always something that got in the way. There's one thing that people say, well, yes, you shouldn't quit because things are hard, but there's something when it's meant to be, it might be hard, but you have peace about following through with it. But if you're not feeling peace, like I didn't feel peace in the beginning already. When she asked me, I just like, yeah, but okay, we'll do it, just because I knew her and I didn't want to offend her. Maybe like, I don't know, all that goes in our minds at those times. But yeah, for me, it was just like, well, I don't know, what do I have to lose? That was probably my mentality. But I lost a lot of time, that will never be regained, because if I just listen to myself, and really just take ownership and fully, embrace who I am and embrace my gut, my feelings, like, my personality. I have known that this person's great on her own. She does great things. I do great things, but our things don't align. It was actually the same topic, but we present from two different perspectives. And, so you have to just remember that yes, partnership is great, but you don't partner with everybody and anybody. So by the time we did all of this and, rescheduling it, and then finally we got it, out there and trying to get people, I kid you not, with all the time we spent rescheduling and then setting it, nobody even signed up for this thing. And I'm like, wow, if I had listened to myself, I'd have saved myself all the time, saved myself all of this, because it just was not something it wasn't for me to do. And through the experience, this person started doing all the things on her own, and she's doing great. I went my own, merry way, and I'm doing fine on my own, right? But then, so I just listen to your guts. That's what I'm saying. Listen to your guts, be true to yourself. And then there's also this new opportunity. Like I'm doing this women conference with a few ladies that I again, met on Facebook. And from the get-go, I'm just like, I'm like, yeah, I'll do this. Like I was at peace about it. I was excited about it. Like I was fully present in the experience. And, we had one in Bedford, and it was our first one, and it was great. Now we're doing one on this Saturday here in Harrisburg. And it's awesome because I listened to myself and I went fully into the experience, right? And the first example I gave, I was not feeling it. I wasn't comfortable with it, but I forced my way through, and it failed miserably, right? So listen to yourself, remember who you are, and that just, don't just mingle for the sake of mingling and, partnership. When you're deciding who to partner with, honestly, take the time to, study that person. You tell them, I'll get back to you. I'm not deciding here and there if you're not comfortable with it. Take the time to look them up. If they're that great that you should connect with them, they should have, again, some track record somewhere. Take the time to do that. I didn't even do that. Like I knew her on Facebook, but I didn't do any more research about after that. So like literally it's okay to be, stalking people online if you want to do business with them. I'm just going to put out there, nothing illegal though. But if it's, if you're doing something, if it's someone you want to partner with, hopefully you can find them somewhere on social media, somewhere on Google, right? What else have they done, and even ask, like now ask, okay, give me a sample of your speaking engagement. I want proof. Because they might be the same topic, but they're, again, don't have the same vibe. Like just own it, like own who you are, and stay true to that. Like these women that I'm now doing the women conference with. I mean, it's such a great experience because I took the time, this time to listen to myself, listen to my feeling, listen to my emotion, listen to my guts, obviously for me, listen to God as well. Like I pray about these things. and it's like, then when I went into it, it's like, wow, it really aligned with what I've been trying to do. That's something else. So before you start partnering with people, look for people who are already doing something that you want to do, or whatever you're trying to partner for aligns with the goals that you have for yourself. Don't sidetrack just because this person maybe have, I don't know, great following. If it's not, if it's not, like it's not my party, not my circus, right? Just because they have a great following, don't just jump on the wagon because, they have people. They might not be your people. And not everyone is not your person. Honestly, you cannot be all, everyone to everyone. No, everything to everyone. So you have to be picky. So that's what I learned from the experiences. I have to be picky. Remember who I am, what I'm working towards, what my goals are, and then stick to that. And any goals that I have people that align with what I'm doing, or the people that I connect with.
It's so important too, because so many times we hear of those tragic collaborations and networking opportunities that like completely blow up in your face. And it's like when you go back, hindsight, it's 2020. Hindsight, you go back and you're like, yeah, I didn't really do the research. I was kind of excited about the opportunity and kind of just jumped the gun sometimes. And so that was a great lesson, because a lot of people don't realize that. And as you're moving into your fullest potential and maximizing your fullest potential as a speaker, that means that I need to know that every opportunity is not going to be the best opportunity.
Yes. Yes.
Sometimes it's okay to say no.
Yeah. Yeah. And we struggle with that, and not just for speakers. I mean, in general, especially women, it's hard for us to say no. Like, I'm going to let somebody down, then it's going to be awkward afterwards. Again, if you know who you are and you know your potential, then honestly, it's okay to say no. And if that person is big enough, they'll realize that your no, it might be just, that rejection might just be protection for both of you. You're not wasting your time. You're not wasting your energy. You're not wasting your money, investing in something that's not for you. Yeah.
So I'm going to repeat that just in case y'all didn't hear that. She said the rejection might just be protection for you. And so we're going to end it on that note, because that was a mic drop moment. The rejection might just be protection for you. And so when you're deciding that you're really going to go into and do this full time, or even if you're doing it part time, knowing that I'm going to, try to maximize this and try to go to my fullest potential as a speaker, guess what? That means that there's going to be those moments where everything is not for us. Even though we get a lot of people that come up with opportunities, everybody will give you an opportunity that sounds amazing in the beginning. Really be deliberate about the opportunities that you say yes to. Really be deliberate about the moments that you connect with people, and then also be deliberate about the opportunities where you say yes, what you're doing with those opportunities after the fact. So I want to say thank you, Chu, for you being a guest on today's podcast. I want you to tell everybody where they can find you and how they can get your book as well.
Okay, so my website is graceandhopeconsulting.com. It's all spelled out. And the book that I have out right now is A Devotional for Women. And I might have it here if I can reach. Devotional for Women. And I'm about to publish a second book on stress relief. So this is the devotional. This is what it looks like. And speaking of those, learning curve. So I did this with a first publisher, and I didn't like some of the things, like the formatting was not what I wanted. So I'm actually about to launch it, a second edition of it with a different publisher. So, if you go on the website, that all the updates will be on there, and I'll have a new link on there for the book. So graceandhopeconsulting.com. And on Facebook, you just, you can Google my name, Chu Allegra, CHOU. And I have a speaker and author page as well that I can share with you for people to follow my speaking adventures.
Awesome. And so, guys, this is all literally every time that we go live, every time we have another guest, it's always the goal is to impact you, but the goal is also so that way some of the pitfalls that we've come in contact with, some of the things that we've learned along the way, it's for it to be a guide for you. I know a lot of times we talk about how in the industry we feel as though we're kind of going through the forest sometimes, because you never know what's going to be out there or what's going to be behind the next turn. But this is just one of many platforms to be able to give you that information and resource. I would love for you as a speaker and author for you to be a guest on the podcast. If you go to bit.ly/Speakeasy Podcast, all lowercase, you can choose a date to be on the Speakeasy Podcast. And we are moving into the last quarter of 2018. And then as we move into 2019, we're going to be doing some revamping for how the podcast is going to look. So guys, I'm excited about that. Not only am I excited about that, I'm excited about the guests that we have coming on, the conversations that will be had. Listen, I just spoke to someone who is a filmmaker who will be one of the guests coming up. So guys, I'm telling you, there are so many opportunities coming down the pipeline. You definitely want to stay connected. Thank you for those who shared it out. Make sure that you give us a review over on iTunes. Follow us on iTunes or Spreaker or iHeartRadio, because guess what? There's somebody out there that needs this information. Even if it's not you, you may be able to share it with the person that does. And until next time, guys, don't forget to press it out. See ya.